Resources are about people. The whole issue of resources is about people. The more you are, the more taxes you pay. And it goes without saying, the more taxes you pay, when it comes to sharing, you share more.
Msukumo wa kuongeza mgao unaopewa kaunti za eneo la kati umekuwa ukipigiwa upatu zaidi na magavana wa eneo hili ambao wanasema fedha zinazofika kwa sasa hazitoshi maendeleo.
It cannot be a constituency like Ruto ambaye iko na watu almost 800,000 inapewa similar amount ya CDF with a constituency iko na watu 14,000.
So if you remember, there is a song which was composed by the stupid women of Muranga and Madeira. You could see the Muranga women rep Betty Maina dancing like an ostrich to that song. Now the Tugeges have done a remix. I want you to listen to it quickly. So they are saying they are going to wake up early to remove Ruto. Now, the intentions are very noble, the thinking is very sober, but we cannot be making the mistakes that our parents and grandparents made. Like, I mean, don't people ever learn? Don't you ever learn as young people? So don't be triggered. This is an old way of thinking and doing things. Now, the solution is not to remove Ruto. The solution is to replace Ruto with someone more competent, more able to, because Ruto has already committed economic atrocities. They are irreversible. The damage inflicted to the economy will take decades to undo. So it's upon you, it's incumbent upon you as young people to not be like your stupid parents and grandparents. In fact, I want you to repeat this covenant with me. I will not be as stupid as my parents and as my grandparents who used to vote to punish. Now don't remove that mentality of voting to punish. The objective is to replace Ruto and by extension every electoral office with somebody who is capable. So what do? You start vetting the candidates right now. Don't wake up on 2027. Now you're going to wait 4 years to go and remove somebody so as to punish him. No, now start vetting. Start doing your own mini kamukunjis, your own mini town hall meetings. You start talking to people. You don't be like your parents. Don't be like your grandparents. This is what they've been doing. And now, let me tell you something. You're going to notice something very, very, very unique. That now the noisy sycophants of William Ruto, they've started toning down. They've started because even then they are reading the mood on the ground. They can feel and they can see that Ruto now can, he cannot be saved right now, or his political fortunes have dwindled completely. Now they are now trying to position themselves so that they can attach to them to the next wave and now come and rebrand themselves. This is the cycle that we are trying to end. I saw a young man on Instagram. Young misguided men, because if this is a caliber of young people, but I'm guessing this was perhaps a sponsored troll who was and now he came to say that Sakaja and Ndindi Nyoro, if we can replace them, because no, we are not replacing boomers with young people who have been fashioned with the mentality of boomers. So Ndindi Nyoro and Sakaja don't fit the bill of the reform of the future that we espouse for the country. They are already steeped in corruption. Ndindi Nyoro cannot, first of all, explain how he's the biggest shareholder of Kenya Power. He just gives cock and bull stories. We don't want people with unscrupulous and suspicious sources of wealth. We need people who are credible, who have some element of integrity. Yeah, Sakaja now is being accused of stealing billions, building flats, doing the usual stuff that boomers have been doing to deprive us of opportunities. You understand? So the young people, the mistake is don't be like your parents. You have to commit. And then secondly, you have to start engaging your parents, because we want them voluntarily not to vote, because they are predisposed to poor electoral choices. Their stupidity is is inborn, is in their DNA. They cannot cannot be salvaged, these people, this generation, because they grew up in different times where they were breastfed on endless propaganda by Jomo Kenyatta, by Moi, by Kibaki and by Uhuru. So these people cannot be helped. The only solution is, you know how you go to a polling station and then you see an old shosho being helped to vote. No. What does that shosho know? She eats boiled food. She doesn't need electricity. Doesn't need running toilets. You need all those services and amenities. You need street lights. You need a functional night economy. You don't need alcoblo. Alcoblo has now become a cornerstone of the Kenya Kwisha shit show. They are now promoting alcoblo as if it's an electoral achievement, as if they pledged in their manifesto that they're going to bring alcoblo. What value is alcoblo to the economy? You understand? So we need to get rid of these people for viable reasons, not because of emotions, not because of I don't know what. This is not an event. This is a process of civic education, civic awareness, the age of enlightenment. This is what I want you to get into your head, to not be as stupid as your parents and grandparents. I don't want them to influence you, in as much as they might be bitter, they might be harboring some element of anger. Those are their mistakes. They should not load them onto you. Don't bear the burden of carrying their baggage of their stupidity, of their poor electoral choices. You understand? So you need to promise, you need to pledge right now that you are not going to remove Ruto. You're not going to remove a governor. First of all, your first step into this state of awareness is stop obsessing about the presidency. You now focus on your governor, your senator, your MP. First of all, you're not voting for anyone who has rebranded, who has come last minute to claim that, oh, blah, blah, blah. Or everyone, even the ODM side. Devolution has redistributed wealth equally amongst all counties. Same as the CDF. Which county has anything to show? None. So it means that corruption is universal. We are now not getting rid of parties. We are getting rid of individuals. That's the only way to incentivize parties to give their nominations to the right people, to the right individuals, not to thugs, not to thieves. You understand? So you have to be. And while we are getting, excited or carried away or impressed by such awakening, because it's unprecedented that within 1 year of the Ruto presidency, people are tired of him. But you're forgetting this fatigue that you have is carried over because Ruto was part of the Uhuru regime. You understand? Ruto and Uhuru are one and the same thing. Yeah. If you look at all when they were launching their manifesto, these are the scam began in 2013 and it was programmed to run for X amount of years. So your fatigue is welcomed, but you have to remain focused that the objective is not to remove somebody, but to replace them with somebody more capable, somebody who is more in tune with your realities.
Wale wengine viongozi wa serikali na wameshauriwa na wako na vio vya juu na tunawajua kwa majina na tunawajua kwa mienendo yao, na usiku ndio wanaakisha moto, wanaakishia rais moto usiku. Mchana wanaongea wako pamoja na rais, lakini usiku ndio watu wa kuunganisha wa Kikuyu wengine na jamii ya Mount Kenya kuelezea vile tumefinywa.
It is surprising to see how the current political regime, led by William Ruto and a host of his political subordinates, keep proving to Kenyans and the whole world how rudderless and clueless they are when it comes to political, social, and economic governance issues. Less than 2 years ago, Rigathi Gachagua and a host of Mount Kenya members of parliament allied to UDA vehemently opposed the BBI, or Building Bridges Initiative, that was being fronted by former President Uhur Kentatta and the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Today, it is surprising to see how the same Rigathi Gachagua and the very same so-called Mount Kenya leaders under UDA have turned the corner and are now all of a sudden supporting supporting the very same BBI they opposed less than 2 years ago. Remember, BBI had very grand initiatives under the leadership of Kenyatta and Odinga to try and save Kenya from political, economic, and social extremes. The BBI was a very grand and good document that would have revolutionized Kenya in very big ways. Fellow Kenyans, how do we change anger in this country called Kenya? How do we change anger? You can even see that officials in the former Kenyatta administration tried their level best to convince, especially people from Mount Kenya, that this document was very good for them, only for them to agree to be misled by the likes of Rigathi Gachagua and a host of UDA members of parliament and leaders from that region. Folks, even the judiciary that is being led by the current Chief Justice, who has literally opposed everything good proposed for the sake of this country and for the sake of ordinary Kenyans, the judiciary would have seen and received very big benefits as an arm of government as a result of passage of the BBI initiative. Let me give you a quick reminder. It is the Supreme Court under the current Chief Justice that refused the BBI, a document that was very good, more so for the ordinary Kenyans, and would have benefited more than any other part of the country, Mount Kenya region, more than any other part of the country. What happened? The people from the mountain still did not understand what was happening. They decided to vote against a document that was going to be very beneficial to them. Secondly, it is still the same current Supreme Court under the current Chief Justice that overturned the people's will during the petition taken to it after the August 2022 presidential election petition by Raila Amolo Odinga in favor of William Ruto. 3, the very Supreme Court keep upholding issues that are not dear to Kenyans, but keep refusing issues that are very dear to Kenyans. The work of courts is designed to work for and protect the interests of the people, not to work against the people in their rulings. Their rulings are supposed to be accepted and respected by the people, because they're supposed to be seen as fair. But it's up to Kenyans. It's literally up to Kenyans to decide for themselves whether the judgments that are being given by this Supreme Court and the current Supreme Court judges are still valid to them or not. The questions many Kenyans are asking themselves is, what has suddenly changed of late such that Rigathi Gachagua seems to be rallying his political allies and friends from Mount Kenya to support the same issues that were once being proposed by former President Uhur Kentatta? What is it that the so-called Mount Kenya leaders who oppose everything that was proposed by Raila Odinga and Uhur Kentatta have seen that other people may not know about? Is the remaining 3 years they have in office fast coming to an end? Before they will have done anything for the people of Mount Kenya?
The worst thing that ever happened in the Republic of Kenya after Shakahola massacre is to have Ruto as the president of Kenya. Ruto is only good in cutting deals where he is getting his share of money and cutting political deals for his political survival. Ruto is an expert and almost a professional in almost everything. He's the best lawyer who can fix the judiciary in a day. He's the best teacher who can administer national examinations free from irregularities and free from exam malpractices. He's the best economist who can tax anything and everything that comes his way. He's the best doctor who can treat people with fake NHIF without caring whether you'll get treated or whether you'll get healed or not. He's the best architect who can draw and the best structural engineer who can build a house for everyone in Kenya, including the unborn ones. He's the best accountant who can borrow 100 shillings from Hustlers Fund, and within 3 months, he is exporting tons and tons of eggs in Europe and Latin America. He's the best meteorologist who can convert El Nino rains to short rains and long rains and heavy rains without caring. He's the best security expert who can resolve the Haiti crisis where everyone else in the world has failed. He's the best farmer who can sell to us fake and contaminated fertilizer and fix food shortage in Kenya in a day. He's the most religious and all of us are devil worshippers. He's the only one who will go to heaven. Ruto is the most useless and the worst president Kenya has ever had, and it's high time he goes out or we throw him out or else he resigns. You are a shame, President Ruto, and don't think you are indispensable.
Considering the fact that William Ruto is going to get rid of them, and William Ruto is going to settle for another running mate and do away with Rigathi Gachagua come 2027. Why is it all of a sudden all of them are in panic mode? From Rigathi Gachagua to UDA allied members of parliament from Mount Kenya. Why is it that all of a sudden they are all in panic mode? What is happening? Third, and most importantly, will Kenyans agree to support anything that gives undue advantage to Mount Kenya, as they were once willing to do when BBI was under the leadership of Raila Odinga and Uhur Kentatta? Our take is that Kenyans will not support anything or any political initiative in any way that will give Mount Kenya undue advantage over the rest of the country. Kenyans will not support. That time is gone. That time is gone when Mount Kenya people rejected political initiative that would have immensely benefited them in very big ways. Simply because Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kentatta initiated that initiative, so they decided it is wrong, and the Kenyans were willing to support any move by Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kentatta. That time is gone and buried. Kenyans will not support anything that will give undue advantage to Mount Kenya. In other words, what Rigathi Gachagua and his political leaders from UDA are doing is simply a waste of time. Kenyans had goodwill during the BBI time of Uhuru Kentatta and Raila Odinga. And that time and the political goodwill that Kenyans had is gone and buried. Mount Kenya people made their choice. And as the former US ambassador to Kenya, Johnny Carsons, once said, choices have consequences. Let Mount Kenya people lay on the political bed that they chose and enjoy the consequences of their decisions. On our part, we will keep reminding Kenyans that choices have consequences until the day they will learn their life lessons well.